Yo, 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 what is going on? It is Wednesday, a special edition of the Fantasy Football Show with a special guest here today. If you don't know who this man is, it is the one, the only Jim Coventry, 32 years deep in the game, man. Actually, one of the interesting things I seen, I was like, this guy's a certified baller. Two-time Triple Crown champion in the Kings Classic, yo. Man, I have listened to you so much doing yard work, mowing the lawn, and all that stuff, man. It's one of my favorite things, man. One of my favorite pastimes. So everybody, ladies and gentlemen, for me and for Nick Wilcox, let's welcome Jim Coventry to the show, man. How's it going, Jim?
Oh, man, appreciate to see everybody. It's always football season, but now we're getting close, so it's even better. But yeah, just really getting a lot of stuff on social media now. The company wants me to push a little more presence there. So 2 short videos a day, 2 threads a day, 2 stat cards a day. And I'm old and I'm tired, but I'm still having fun.
Oh man, I love the stat cards, man. I love it. That's actually like one of my favorite things, man. I love the visualization there, man. So definitely some dope work, man. A lot of stuff that like Nick and I have been talking about as well. Certain players that just seem like your Kyler Murray one, man. That's one that we talked about last week. But yeah, man, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Nick. How's it going, brother? How you doing, man?
We're doing fantastic, dog. Come on, we out here.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, man. Let's go. All right, man. So first up, we'll kind of get things rolling here with Jim. So what's going on with Jim, man? What's up with you?
So always grinding, always learning, always trying to get better, trying to understand what coaching changes are, philosophical changes around the league, and I'm sure we'll get into it later, but I've got some really good stuff that's going beyond the common stuff that's getting floated out there. So yeah, I'm always working at this, love what I do, wouldn't have it any other way. But life's good, man. Life is real good.
All right, dig that. And with life being good, obviously, talking about like this is the one thing you had going on. Like last week, you had Scott Fishbowl, is that correct?
Yes, right. Chicago Live hung out with about 120 people, and that's the highlight, right? It's all about people. I know you guys in the Fantasy Football Expo and just getting to see people. Look, the draft is a draft. Drafting in July, we're all having fun. Everybody better like their team. And that's the great thing about the Scott Fishbowl. The scoring's always like, it's nuts. It's a good nuts. And so that's fine. But really for me, I just want to see 120 people and hang out. That's my idea of fantasy football fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, like I agree, man. Like Scott Fishbowl is definitely, one of the best things out there, man. It's one of the best times that is out there. And you did it for Chicago. Tell us a little bit about your team, man. Tell us a little bit about your team and kind of like some of the strategy that you had. What you have going on with it.
So full disclosure, I always want to pick on the end because after 10 rounds, it's a slow draft. And you never know what you're getting with a slow draft. I mean, it just like, oh my gosh, sometimes you're waiting, I want to keep checking. So picking at the end, I get 2 picks in a row. So that means there's less I got to worry about. I know it's a weird thing to say, but it really is how I feel. But in terms of the team itself, look, this scoring system has a lot of different quirks to it. I had the 101, and I had players ranked with more possible points than Josh Allen. But at the end of the day, this is a large field tournament. And I said to myself, you know what? Who's on the field every week except for week 18 when nobody's playing? It's Josh Allen. And he's the one that's more likely than anybody not to miss time. So in a large field tournament, give me the guy that scores me something every week. Nakua might miss games. Chase has a little bit of an injury history on and off. Running backs, you never know. So that was the whole point. And then it's basically how the board felt. But the tight ends, there's a cheat code with tight ends in this year's Scott Fishbowl. The scoring really, really kicks them up. And I think a couple of people got that. Like the 1-2 turn, Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren went there. That was understanding. Obviously, McBride and Bowers went real early in the first round. But then Tucker Kraft falls to the end of the 6th round. I'm like, thank you. And then the 6-7 turn, Dalton Kincaid. I know he's hurt, but you get bonus for 20-point catches. 30% of his catches were 20 yards. And then a little later, Andrews, Dulcich. I even threw in a little Terrence Ferguson in the 13th round for good luck.
Man, that's funny. Actually, I seen your video, man, about Dalton Kincaid and just the fact of where you had him ranked at versus the injury and how you really thought about like the injury process as far as like, hey, like, is it a consistent thing? Is it the same thing over and over? And last season, towards the end of the year, like you could really tell that Buffalo offense really, really focused in on the tight end. So I do like Kincaid there as far as like what you had. It's funny, Nick was kind of laughing because we were kind of talking about Scott Fishbowl, and he's like, who are you taking at 101? I said, I think I'm going to go Chase. And he's like, man, Josh Allen. I said, I don't know, man. I said, I'm really big on Jamar Chase this year. I think a healthy Joey B, man. I think, I think we all know this, right? It's no secret. Like everything's on the table for him. He might even be in the Jim Coventry space with the Triple Crown Award again, man.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, man. What you got, Nick?
As far as number one?
Yeah, just overall, man. Just about his team. What do you think?
Nah, anytime you start with a guy that's the highest point go-getter, Josh Allen, that just logically makes sense. I told you this. Josh Allen. Why not?
I'm hard-headed. I don't listen.
Honestly, though, I have Chase scoring more points than Allen. But like I said, you've got the factors. What if Burrow gets hurt 3 times in 6 years? He's missed time. What if Chase? So, I mean, Chase is the best pick. Chase was a better pick. But like I said, large field tournament, I want the guy that's most likely to play 17 games. No question with Chase. If you took Bijan or Gibbs, no question. If you took Puka there, no question,
Yeah,
I just feel like with Jim's roster, Josh Allen makes sense because of the bonuses that we talked about. I just felt like the guy with the ball in his hands the most, like, is what I'm thinking. That's what that is all about. And projection-wise, Chase would make a little bit of sense, but give me the guy that's going to have the most opportunities for long run abilities for scores, throwing through the air for scores, going to have the ball in his hand the most. Like,
yeah, that's fair, man. That's fair.
So
That's fair. No, that's
you
cool.
Side with Jim.
Nobody's talking about the DJ Moore effect. Josh Allen hasn't had an outside receiver in 2 years. And I told people before the season 2 years ago and last year, Buffalo in the NFL playoffs was going to struggle because ultimately in the NFL playoffs, it's hyper-specific game planning. And when you don't have an outside receiver who can win, the defense packs in and they pack down. And at some point in the NFL playoffs, Josh Allen is not going to be able to overcome that. And, maybe that wasn't the only reason, but I'm telling you, getting DJ Moore, that unlocks a lot more for Josh Allen. He actually has some defenses will have to play them differently. That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I like that DJ Moore pickup for them. I'm a fan of DJ Moore anyway, for sure. And I think
last year.
Last year, depending on what roster, I had a roster that I had him on, and he did not do me any favors. But I do have some things going back from the preseason.
Because of his name last year.
Hey, listen, and at the beginning of the season, I was praising his name just like I am now. You know what I mean? Like, because I thought, being a Caleb Williams guy, like I thought like that was going to be like a critical component. But one of the things too, like talking about the Bills, as you were, I still think too, man, like there can still be an opportunity for some of these second rounds of free agent wide receivers for them too. And I think that's something that like a lot of people, aren't really thinking about or not talking about. Is that space? I think like, I know a guy like Debo's a little bit longer in the tooth, but like I could see him being a really nice weapon there in that offense. So definitely good call out for sure, man. Anything crazy happened at the SFB 16 event there in Chicago, man? Anything before we get ready to move on?
You would think that would be the case, man. Chicago, it was a boring overall draft, and here's why. It was set up in a banquet hall, so it was 12 round tables, and basically, I think people felt like they needed to sit at their table. So I mingled and moved around, but a lot of people were reluctant to do that because it just felt like you were supposed to be in your seat. And so I think that was it. So, and with 120 people, I don't know how you do it better. The guy who ran it, Steven Johnson, did a wonderful job. It just really, you don't have options. When I went to the Madison, Wisconsin draft last year, this was in a venue where everybody was moving around because you're just drafting off your app and finding your stickers and putting them on the board. That was one where you were mingling the whole time while you were drafting. And to me, that was – so, again, it just was – the Chicago draft was so big, they probably didn't have another option.
Yeah, yeah. Now the Boston ones, they've been pretty solid for sure.
Just like that, yeah.
Yeah, like we the very first year that we did, like what, 4 years ago, it was in a bar. It was pretty hot, but like it was really like everybody was in tight. But it gave us a chance to really get to meet and get to know people, and like we still have like a lot of like really good connections, a lot of really great connections from that, which is one of the things that like, hey, like if you are in SFB or you ever thinking about a live draft, like highly, highly, highly encouraging for sure, man. It's definitely a great opportunity to mingle and meet some people for sure. So in that same space, we have it's a jam packed, but 8 weeks we got coming up here to the season. So the next thing we got, and I'll let Nick take this right here. Got the Fantasy Football Expo coming up here in what, like 2 weeks, I believe, for you guys. One week.
9 days. Well,
9 days. Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. Yeah, Fantasy Football Expo, Canton, Ohio, 24th to the 27th. Like, we're out there. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, a little bit of Monday in there. But overall, it's a fantastic time where you want to just go and network, connect, learn how to get your platform up and running, or just mingle with some of the people in the industry. It's a great place. It's a vibe. I'll just tell you that. You gotta be there in order to really take in all the atmosphere. Because I promise you, if you haven't been, you need to go. There's still tickets there. Bob Long puts it all together. Him and his wonderful staff put on a great event out in Canton, Ohio, and there's still tickets available if you guys want to go grab some. It's the fantasyfootballexpo.com. Look for tickets. Like, you can just go for the weekend. There's Expo bundles still available, and there's even some Ultimate Fan experiences. I was able to taking that experience last year because I won it, ironically, at a Scott Fish Bowl overall event, and it was just a great experience to have. And overall, it was a great place to just mingle and have a great time. And again, just me and Johnny started our show a few years ago, and we went to that event for the first time a couple of years ago. And again, between networking and between just like having great people to connect with, like that's what it's really all about. So whether you're a so-called fan or whether you're a person that wants to put out content, come out. It is a fun atmosphere and experience.
Yeah, we actually met Jim. This was, well, I say me. I met Jim last year for the first time, and I was like, he comes up and we're talking about, I don't know if you remember, we were talking about Fans Classic Draft, and we're talking about Derrick Henry, talking about the big dog, and it was definitely cool, man. And those are the type of moments for me, man, that really hit home. It's like the people that like you hear you read about, right? All those things, and just being able to come up and talk to them and have casual conversations. And then fast forward, here we are a year later, man, and you're on with a pod with us, man, talking a little ball. So where are people going to be able to find you during the expo, Jim?
Yeah, at the expo, I will make the rounds as much as I can. Anywhere there's an event, I will be there. Come and say hi. Believe me, there are not many of those people there that are too much of their full of themselves. They don't want to talk to everybody. Most of us there, we want to talk to everybody. So come by and say hello, and definitely would like to talk to you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so next thing we got, man, is we got a little rapid fire here for you, Jim. We got a little rapid fire here for you, and I'm pretty excited about this, man. This is like, we like to do like different segments. Each show we try to come up with something different. So I'll go ahead and get things started for you. This one is like it's a 3-part question. I know we said about 10 seconds. So we'll kind of give you a caveat with this one. What is your favorite league that you're currently in right now?
Kings Classic. I'm in the Jim Brown division, so it's the best of the best. 14 teams, 3 flexes. It really squeezes out the luck factor.
Okay. So I think you hit all the other things I was going to ask you. Why, how long, and what makes it unique, man? Listen, seasoned veteran, man. Seasoned veteran right here. All right, Nick, you got it?
Yeah, so the favorite position to draft from this year.
So 103, who are you taking at the 103 is the question?
No, just your favorite position to draft on this year.
Favorite position. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Favorite position? Man, you know what? I'd like to pick somewhere around 9th or 10th in a 12-team league because in my greatest world, I'd really love to get Genty and Omarion Hampton if I could swing that. That would be the one. Hampton goes to maybe pick 15-ish. That's a start I like.
Okay. All right. Okay. The
Really
Genty.
interesting.
Yeah.
This is gonna be interesting. We already. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like I want to hear. I know it's rapid fire, but I want to hear more about this Genty thing because I think like both of us we were kind of talking last week. We're like, all right, like hey, like we've got 2 players for the Raiders that really are more likely than not are going to be drafted in the top 20. Like we don't think that they're going to win a lot of football games. This feels very similar to a couple years ago when Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson were in that same space. Talk to us a little bit about that, man, about like your Ashton Genty take.
Clint Kubiak coming into town, it speaks volumes. Clint Kubiak can make a running game out of literally nothing. Ashton Genty had an incredible broken tackle rate last year, but here's what you need to know. Colton Miller, the left tackle, almost missed the whole season. He's a star. And then they bring in center Tyler Linderbaum, one of the best run-blocking centers. He can pull, and that means that outside zone run. He's a key for that. They have Michael Mayer, a second tight end. They're going to have another tight end on the field. They drafted Jackson Powers Johnson last year. He was hurt. This offensive line can be decent. And again, with the league going a lot more 2, I don't think the Raiders will run 3 tight ends, but I do think the Kubiak system, it has proven over and over and over. It works, and teams just can't stop it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, maybe I might have to go back and reassess my Ashton Genty take. What you
Genty is my RB9 right now. There's some room for him to grow a little bit, but I think everyone's a little bit more skeptical just about like how Genty kind of was last year and almost eerily in the same environment. So I understand the offensive line was hurt, but even with that, like people were expecting Genty to at least have a bit more of a receiving game going on. So I know you're high on the Clint Kubiak, and I don't not agree with you on that. I just think with Genty, it's like I feel like there's other guys that I feel like I can really ride home with a little bit more versus like if you want to go a little bit more of a variant option with Genty, I can understand why you're excited. But will he last all season? And overall, can he really keep you on average consistently? Because I need at a Genty, if I'm drafting him as again, we're talking about Genty being some people grabbing him around the 10 spot, 11 spot in a 12 team or very early second round. So I guess your strategy-wise there for Genty is that you're either going to go potentially double running back just to kind of secure the position and kind of take away from the overall volatility, or you're really okay with grabbing him. If you get him early second round, it might be more of a nicer place to have him in the first round. But I'm not grabbing the first round, no.
Totally get it, and last year burned a lot of people. I just want you to know, Chip Kelly was coaching the offense last year. And I told everybody for the season, don't you dare buy a Raider. Chip Kelly was a great college coach. He had he had a shot with the 49ers. He had that 1 year with the Eagles where he ran at 800 miles an hour and the league took a half a year to figure it out. And then he was out of the league. He can't coach. And so Genty had the worst possible situation. No offensive line, no quarterback, and no coach. I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be, but they have a coach. Anyway, all that said, when you would say, will he hold up? I am bullish on running back health. Yes, somebody will twist an ankle, somebody will twist a knee, but right now you are looking at defenses with 230-pound linebackers. There are no more guided missiles out there. There are mostly 2 tight ends on the field, and there are only 6 or 7 run defenders. So now you have it where offensive blockers have a hat on every defender. There's no more free runners. You do not get hit unless it's a safety, and Genty will make move on him and be gone. But you don't get free hits on running backs anymore. So durability is greater than ever. I called this last year hard, and I'm doubling down because we're going to see, like I said, more tight ends. So all that said, I completely get your idea of fading Genty because last year a lot of people were burned by him. But he's a dynamic pass receiver too. I just don't see a world where Kubiak. And one more thing, Kubiak said first of all, when he went in there, he goes, "Oh, we're going to run a committee here." And then he saw Genti in OTAs, and he backed right off that statement. He's like, "Oh, well, maybe we're going to play Genti a little bit more." And he goes, if the talent's here to here, I think you're not just going to pigeonhole a guy in. So I think that Kubiak learned very fast. This kid's a superstar.
Yeah. No, I love that take, man. I love that, definitely. And then we got somebody in the chat, our boy Haywood, I believe here. He's got Genti at RB 3 or 4. Is he crazy?
He's not crazy at all.
Just a little crazy. He's definitely crazy. He has a few definitely a few screws loose. You already know. Definitely does. Haywood, shout out to him. But my brother, you have a couple of screws loose right there, bro.
Think about the running back board, though. So Gibbs and Bijan are locked, 1 and 2.
Yeah, right.
McCaffrey's coming off 425 touches. He's 30 years old. Yes, he can still do it again. But then you got Jonathan Taylor. And once Daniel Jones went out, he was down at 3.0 yards per carry. And he might be cleared right now. Daniel Jones rarely plays more than 11 games. So if he goes down, are you really going to bank on Jonathan Taylor without Daniel Jones? And they don't even have, they have Josh Downs at receiver too. They have no third receiver on that team.
It's weird because I'm the same. I literally last couple seasons with Jonathan Taylor. I was in that same rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think, Jonathan Taylor is always one of those guys, man, especially later in the year, where he just goes off, yo. And you're like, okay. I was right on Jonathan Taylor all year until our playoffs. But you got a point. I mean, I think there's certain guys that you're looking at and you're like, there's still room for the top after you're talking about Bijan and Gibbs.
But Jonathan Taylor, though, the thing about him is like, he's always been one of those guys that in the right situation, in the right scenario, like he's money. And like running back it's been that volatile if you think about it over the last 5 years. It's been that volatile over the last 5 years. It's been that volatile with Derrick Henry. It's been that volatile with Christian McCaffrey. Like, it's been that volatile, like, with all of those guys. So, and Jonathan Taylor is in that same boat because, what was it, just, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, he was the number 1 pick overall. And, like, we're sitting here talking about it now. Like, he's probably the, third to fifth running back you could make a case for. Like, in this space, the one guy that, like, I think we all agree with is, like, we all agree with Omarion Hampton for sure. Like, absolutely, like, incredible. Like, even before Mike McDaniel, even before that, like, super bullish on the talent. But I think now, obviously, like, it's no secret now that, like, obviously, like, what this offense is going to be and what his skill set does. We got a couple more things in the chat I'm going to throw out here, and we're going to get right back to everything as well. We got my man Jamal here. Jamal actually asking about Kamara. Is he dead for fantasy? We'll get to that one a little bit later on. I don't think so, but obviously for a lot of different reasons. And then we got this right here. 230 pound linebackers running 20 miles an hour though.
Yeah, but they're not bringing anybody down. That's
the part, man. That's the part. All right, man. What's another thing for you, man? Articles or podcasts, and why? Which one's your favorite?
So podcasts at 2.0 speed. You could get double the information in half the time. Honestly, who has time? I mean, no offense. Who has time to read? Honestly, when I'm doing the podcast, I'm at the gym. I'm cutting the lawn, like you said. Yeah. I'm in the car. I'm working. When I'm home, I'm working. I don't have time to read.
No, me either, brother. Me either, man. Go ahead, Nick.
A player that changed teams that will have the biggest impact this season.
Changed teams and will have the biggest impact. Got to think to DJ Morwell. And you know what? I don't like the 480 or so pass attempts that Buffalo's thrown the last couple of years. But Sean McDermott's gone, and that team's been hemorrhaging defensive talent for years. McDermott stitched it together. That defense is going to be in free fall. And I know they got some easy games. They're going to have to score points. This is going to be a Buffalo team. They're still going to run. They're going to have to throw. And like I said, they have no other outside receiver. And DJ Moore, when you see Josh Allen buying time, that's deadly. And DJ Moore is that receiver who can ad-lib. That's going to be fun.
All right. Speaking of, like, actually, no, it's your turn, Nick. I was getting ready to go double down and go. Go ahead, man.
No problem. Jim, what's one thing that you have to do before you go live on air?
Comb my hair. Oh wait, no, I just got to make sure I just got to make sure that my mic is properly set up, and that's about it. It's so normal to me now. It's such a part of my daily routine. Whether I'm on the XM show, whether I'm doing a stream, I'm literally doing video every day. Maybe a couple months in the off season, I'm not, but I'm always so. It is just such a normal part. It's like breathing. So there is no one thing that I have to do.
Dig that. Dig that. Nick did that Undertaker thing again where he vanished on us. He does this every now and then. Must have been Haywood, must have hurt his feelings and he bounced on us. All right. So if you were in the league, Jim, what position would you be playing?
Okay, so the caveat or the excuse here is I was born in 1965. I grew up in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. All right, so I am built to be a fullback.
Okay.
Back in the day, I would have been that day. Obviously, now me only being 205 pounds, clearly fullbacks now are monsters. But I would have evolved with the times probably. I was that person that wanted to take out the linebacker. I would be a fullback all day long.
Okay. All right. I love that. I love that. Who's your favorite player of all time and why?
Jerry Rice.
All right.
Jerry Rice, and it's probably not close. The beautiful thing about Jerry Rice, the first 3 steps of his route were identical on every play. Defenders never had a clue on how to defend him because those first 3 steps you usually get a read on a receiver. Oh, he's doing this or that. Jerry Rice, you had no clue at all. And the thing was, he didn't have great time speed. Nobody ever caught that man from behind.
Nope. And it, like, dude, like as a high school DB, that's the worst thing ever, man. Like, I say this all the time. Like, there weren't too many receivers that like gave me problems, but like there was one guy down in Giles County from Tennessee. It's down there, almost like near the Alabama line. Yo, everything looked the same. And that is a nightmare for you when everything looks the same, man. Everything looks the same. All right, go ahead, Nick. Oh, you back? You're back. Welcome back.
Yeah, my life.
Did Haywood hurt your feelings? Did Haywood hurt your feelings, man?
No. if anything, I hurt Haywood's feelings. Jim, are you commissioned of any leagues that you're in?
Fortunately, no. I commissioned a league for about 27 years. Okay. Most of the leagues I play in are industry leagues. And if they have a commissioner, they don't need to do a commissioner job. Everybody just does this for a living. And so those are a lot of leagues I'm in. And then, high stakes stuff. And so, yeah. So other than that, no, there are no more. I don't play in any more friendly leagues. They're all like friendly leagues are the people I work with, like industry people, So those are the friendly leagues I'm in. They're not my neighborhood friends. They're my people that I, correspond with all year. So yeah, no more of that stuff of having to deal with all that drama.
Man, goals. Man. Oh, man.
It ain't drama when you win it. It ain't drama when you win it.
Yeah, right, man. Trying to get everybody together for a date, man. Like a date that works for everybody. Trying to get,
be firm with it. Be here.
Man, listen. Yeah. Yeah, you can, and that's how you go from 12 to 10 to 10 to 8. You know what I mean? Listen, okay. You got to be able to listen. You got to be able to finesse, man. You got to be able to finesse for sure. Jim, who have you not had a chance to work with that you would like to work with?
You know what? For whatever reason, I've never really worked with Dave Richard. I think once he may have come on a marathon for 5 or 7 minutes. I never worked with Dave Richard. And that'd be fun. I like Dave Richard. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I thought you did. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I thought he did.
No.
I've worked with most of them. I mean, most people I've worked with most. For whatever reason, just Dave and I are friendly. It just hasn't worked out.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Nick.
Who wins the Super Bowl this year, Jim?
Do I want to be boring?
Hold on, let me say it in Tony Romo voice. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl, Jim?
How did the Rams not win it? I really believe Aaron Donald's coming back. I really believe he's going to be playing.
That's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Now, could Stafford get hurt? Yes. Could Nakua get hurt? Yes. And it'd be a major problem. But, man, if they're healthy in the playoffs, and that defense, like I said, they brought in Garrett. They got two corners. They didn't have their corners last year. It was terrible by the end of the season. They got two corners who can cover. They got Garrett, and if they get Aaron Donald, how are you scoring points on them?
That's one of the Madden franchise teams right there, man. All right, man. So this is one of the segments, man. Like I want to like start including like in every show, especially like when we get to the season. I'm gonna call it 4th and 20. Give us your hottest take for the NFL season coming up.
Man, the hottest take for the NFL season. That one is so hard to come out with. Let me see. Didn't really think that one through. So this is the hot take. This isn't a hot take, but Malik Willis is benched by week 6.
That is pretty.
Whoa!
It's not his fault. And it's not his fault. First of all, 3 starts with Green Bay, right? He averaged 20 pass attempts per game. That tells you that his coach was hiding him. His coach had no confidence. Now, you watch that Ravens game last year in week 17, you loved it because the Ravens just put everybody in the box, but they had Christian Watson. They had other good receivers. So he was just able to chuck it up over the top and throw it up, and he had great receivers. Well, guess what he doesn't have in Miami? Who's going to get open? Malik Washington? Caleb Douglas? Really? Who's getting open? So if I'm a defense, and I know this is over the top. If I'm a defense, I'm saying, am I going to play an 8-man or a 9-man front against them? Because who's winning? And then at that point, if you put 8 men up front, where's the hole for Achane? Where's the hole for Willis to run? There isn't one. And Willis, I'm telling you, like I said, 20 pass attempts per game. He's not a passer.
No.
So if he has nowhere to run, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
It's a good point.
I like, obviously like Nick's a diehard Achane guy for sure.
Sure am.
That's one of my biggest hesitations and reservations like with picking him this year is like it's not the talent for him. It's just like everything that everything that you just mentioned. I'm like, I could see that because my biggest fear with Devon Achane is like, what's gonna happen in week 15 when they maybe have 1 win or 2 and they're tanking to get a quarterback? Like they're gonna pull they're gonna pull everybody, man. So I definitely could see a scenario where that happens, man, for sure. So all right, man. Well, definitely appreciate that. It didn't
we got one more.
Oh yeah, I'll go for it. Rip it.
Who is your fantasy MVP for the upcoming season?
O'Marion Hampton.
Let's go.
Let's
go.
The offensive line, they draft Jake Slaughter.
Yes.
Tyler Biadasz might not be Superman, but he's a good enough center. That's a big upgrade in the middle. Alton, Slater are healthy right now.
Yeah.
You can't undersell the Mike McDaniel effect on a running game, and no defense can stack the boxes. They got Justin Herbert.
Yeah, well, I hope everybody that plays in leagues with Nick and I hope you guys are all watching, because if you're watching, like, we're letting you know like what it's going to be. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know about Nick, but I can speak for myself. I'm ready to jump. I'm ready. I've
already leaped.
Yeah, listen. I could make a case. I could make a case, man, for Hampton. I could make a case for Hampton in the first round. I'm comfortable pulling the trigger
100%.
there. Like I'm comfortable pulling the trigger there, man, for sure. So definitely appreciate that, man, for sure. One thing about Nick and I, man, sometimes we like to talk. So welcome. Literally. All right, man. So who does the market have right, and who does the market have wrong from your standpoint?
So the market always is one where it's going to change over time, but I think a lot of these aren't going to change. I get putting Jaden Daniels at quarterback 5. I understand it. But, man, I said this even his rookie year. He's 6'4", 210. Maybe he's 210, and I don't think he's 210. I think it was sugar weight he put on.
Sugar weight.
How is he holding up? How is he going to hold up? And last year we saw it. What was it, 4 different injuries? I mean, love him.
It was at least 2.
Yeah.
He was out at least like 8 games at least.
Yeah, it was. I can't.
It was bad.
Quarterback 5, I can't. And also, before the injuries, his scoring was down from his first year. And now they're talking about putting him under center, which is good for his health, but it's not good for the spread attack he's going to run in. It's not going to be the same ability to run. So, yeah, that one. And running back, Bashal Tootin, I know he's not aggressively priced. He's running back 25, but they are not committing to a backfield at all. And I think Chris Rodriguez is the thunderback. I don't think there's any question about that. He's the early down grinder. And then John Shipley from Sports Illustrated is saying that the pass catching backs to Quint Allen, he's like very adamant about that. So I'm like, okay, well, what's Tootin's role? They say he's the most explosive player on the team, but he had 3.7 yards per carry last year. I just don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Jaden Daniels thing, man, that's crazy because that was one of the things like doing some like early research. Like I've got all my quarterbacks like iced and ready to roll, and that was one of the things was him being under center, and then the pace as well. That was another thing like they had talked about was like there won't be as much like no huddle, so like the pace will slow down, and then you look at like what they have offensively, and like they're not very rich offensively either. So. And I like Jaden Daniels. I got in on him early, right? And I think like that we see this happen quite a bit with players where like we're chasing seasons that like they previously had, and like to quote Jack Harlow, I didn't peak in high school. I'm still out here getting cuter. Like that might not be the case for some of these other guys, man. And Tootin, it is really weird for me with him because you would think like in a Liam Cohen offense, like that there's going to be a running back that's going to pop. And it feels like everybody was just under the assumption that it would be Tootin would be the guy that would pop. But now it's looking like, 3 different backs, which we, for fantasy managers, we all know that is the kiss of death. That is the kiss of death is 3 running backs, man. So, no, I'll rock with you on that for sure, man. For sure.
Then I'll give you an overrated receiver and tight end too. Mike Evans, and I get it, he's discounted wide receiver 27.
I believe it. No, I rock with you.
Here we go.
Jim, I rock with you, brother. Let him talk his shit. Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
Father Time only fears one human being, and that human being is Derrick Henry. We saw Julio Jones go to a new team at 32 years old, flamed out. We saw DeAndre Hopkins go to a new team at 32. He flamed out. Evans is going to be 30. Here's the deal on Evans. Evans missed 8 games in his first 10 years. The last 2 years, he's missed 12 games. I consistently tell people age and injuries are directly correlated. When you start getting hurt more, it is usually something that you see every time with age. And now, yes, Shanahan does run some down the sideline routes. Yes, he does up in the red zone. But the premise of his offense is yards after the catch. Has Evans ever been a yak guy?
Nope.
So I love Mike Evans, and I don't ever want anything bad about him. But Father Time is sitting on his back and getting heavier each year. The track record of 33-year-old receivers coming in and doing something if they're not named Jerry Rice, it's really, really – history is not lining up with him. Nick, why do you disagree with that one?
Yeah, I disagree. I don't mind the points. But here's the thing. I think when it comes to Tampa Bay's offense, he was literally just a boundary receiver constantly, right? The other part is that with Mike Evans, like, I know this offense is not an overall offense where you're nickel and diamond all the time, but Mike Evans slips in perfectly in this Niners offense. If we're talking about where George Kittle sits, we don't exactly know yet. But my whole thing is that Mike Evans can slot right into this big body receiver role for them in the end zone. So I do think that there's an ability to still have double-digit touchdowns, receiving yards. Like, again, we've seen him do 1,000 yards receiving over his career. And I understand the points on Hopkins and Julio Jones and stuff. Remember, these guys didn't enter the situation that Mike Evans has. Mike Evans is still entering a situation where this team is still a win-now team right now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see the drop-off like you're saying. I know he's aged a little bit and whatnot. I think Mike Evans still has a lot of game left in him. And we'll just have to find out how everything shakes out. But I think you're wrong.
Good, and that's good because there's a lot of possible outcomes here. A lot of possible outcomes.
Yeah. No, I'm like I said, man. Like I'm with you. Like I agree with like the age and the injury perspective. Like that's the biggest thing for me. And again, like the clavicle was like that was a fluky thing, but like it's consistently like we know like about Mike Evans. Hey, baby, stretch them hamstrings. Stretch them hamstrings and stretch them good. Stretch them good. You know what I mean?
So let's take this up.
But wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Because I think like the one thing like for Mike Evans, like the one aspect of his game that like I think like could always keep him afloat is finding the end zone. And I think like if it ends up being something where he's just a very touchdown dependent player, like obviously like he can get there for sure. But I just think that like the days of like the consistent 1,000-yard seasons and and the touchdowns, I just like I have a hard time. I have a hard time seeing it pan out like that. And then if we talk about like injuries, like as well, like San Francisco is in a very similar space, man. Like they have dealt with a ton of injuries at every position, right? And I do think like for me, like Mike Evans, I'm not saying like I won't take him in any drafts, like because every player at some point in time can turn into a value, but like I definitely don't hold him in the same regards as I did even last season.
So what's the difference between we talked about Evans versus Adams before.
Yeah.
Why are we so low on Evans versus Adams?
I mean, go ahead, Jim.
Adams has a real problem. And the problem Adams has, and the guys, you're going to hear the laziest fantasy analysis this summer from a lot of people. And they're going to tell you the Rams played 30% three tight end offense. It's completely lazy. It's not true. The Rams never started using three tight ends till after their week 8 bye. They were using it 46 to 50% of the time until they had tight end injuries at the end of the season. What does that mean? Three tight ends means one receiver on the field. Well, Nakua played a high percentage of the snaps. Adams still played some. But that they drafted another tight end. And Terrence Ferguson's in his second year. They are pot invested in three tight ends. And because they know the defense have no answers for it. So Davante Adams, yes, 2 years in a row of hamstring injuries. And again, age and hamstring and injuries. It's an ongoing thing. But Adams is not going to see 80% of the snaps. He's probably going to get about 60-ish because of the three tight end offense.
And to that point too, like the one thing like we know 1,000% is going to happen. Puka works in between in the 20s. Tay works inside the 20s. That's just what it is. Like there's no ifs, ands, buts, and bees about it. Like Mike Evans, we gotta hope that it happens like that. Like if you draft him, and maybe it does. And George Kittle, and again, like you mentioned it, like we don't know about George Kittle.
I don't think I hope with that, but
we'll right. But listen, but even still, dude, Davante Adams is the king of kings when it comes to wide receivers and as far as like red zone and end zone targets. So like you're like even in Mike Evans' best, it's not going to be a Davante Adams' best. So if you're telling me from a target standpoint, like that's just what it is, man. That's what it is.
Okay. Are we convinced that when the 49ers get in the red zone, the ball's going to Mike Evans? Because George Kittle, apparently it wasn't like a full Achilles, and they're saying even if he is not there week 1, if he's there at week 6, week 7, and McCaffrey's on the team, why is Mike Evans going to be the guy in the red zone when they've got Kittle and they've got McCaffrey, who are two of the elite in the red zone, and they already have chemistry with their quarterback? So Evans will get some, but it's not like Evans is scoring 15 touchdowns unless the 49ers are scoring 35 points a game. Maybe that happens. But
we're not asking Mike Evans for 15 touchdowns.
but that was hyperbole. I was kind of shooting over the top, just kind of make the point. But I mean, you've got Kittle and you got McCaffrey, and it's not going to be like, all right, well, guys, you're not going to score touchdowns this year because we brought Mike Evans in.
Right. No, it's like I love it, man. Like I love it all, man. I love it all. Here he goes with this invisible pass.
Call me crazy about Devon Achane.
Right. That was 2 years ago, but that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. That was 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago.
That was actually last year.
No. Nobody called you crazy about Devon Achane last year.
Nobody, because everyone's trying to ride the bandwagon.
Here we go. The Kevin Garnett of fantasy football, getting himself all hyped up about something else that like doesn't even like not even a thing. It's all right. We got you, man. This one's here. This one's here. We got you. Like what? Because Devon Achane wasn't last year. That was 2 years ago. We gave Achane his flowers, man. We gave him his flowers. What's your? Oh, here we go. What's your one team that's grossly underrated from a fantasy side, Jim?
It's still the Chargers. Hampton is going like at running back 8 or 9. I think he's the running back 3 this year. Justin Herbert's going as the quarterback 7. McDaniel's offense is going to put up like a boatload of points. He could easily be the quarterback 4. And McConkey's like wide receiver 18 in this role. How is he not like top 13 or 14? And I don't know how the tight end position shakes out. I'm still a Gadsden guy, but I can't really answer that right now till training camp, but I still think they're still undervalued. I think in a month from now, we may not be saying that. I think enough people are going to jump on the train where people are going to move that price up. But right now, yeah, I think if you're stacking them in like a large field tournament, the prices are not outrageous.
Yeah, that's definitely good to hear because I had my first Scott Fishbowl hopefuls draft and I was picking at 7, and I was like, I'm just gonna take Omarion Hampton at 7 and just see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? And so like it's great to hear. So all right. Nick, you got this one here?
Yeah, I do. So are you in and who are you in on and then who are you out on?
At quarterback, I like to wait super late, and I'm in on Murray and Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is really easy to figure out. If Baker Mayfield's healthy, he has had 4 excellent NFL seasons. Last year in week 6, we were chanting MVP. Tez Johnson thought it was for him. It was for Baker. Sorry, Tez.
Highlight, baby.
Baker hurts his shoulder, but he plays through it. When Baker's hurt, he's terrible because he stays on the field and he can't play. But when he's healthy, which has been 4 different seasons, he is a difference maker. He's getting a quarterback 18 in drafts. Kyler Murray, I'm going to make this real simple. He may not be a good quarterback, but Sam Darnold wasn't a good quarterback either. And he walked into that offense, and he threw for 4,335 touchdowns. Kevin O'Connell, two healthy tackles. The receivers are open instantly. The throws are schemed. The throws are easy. And Kyler Murray can make those easy throws that he's going to be given. That offense is going to score some points.
Yeah. The one thing about Kyler, and I didn't even hit on this when we were going over our stuff, Nick, but like Kevin O'Connell and how he's used the quarterback inside the 20s and inside the 10, that's the place that Kyler Murray is actually really going to be able to excel, is inside the 20 and inside the 10. And like, listen, and we were debating Kyler and Bo Nix on our show on Sunday. Nick took Kyler, I took Bo Nix. But I was telling Nick, I was like, dude, I could absolutely see a world where if he gets locked into the job, or when he does, he's gonna steam like crazy. He's gonna steam like crazy from a name brand perspective, for everything that you just talked about, and from the fact that like, hey, like Kevin O'Connell, like with Kirk Cousins, with Sam Darnold, like he's gotten them. I believe it was like QB 9 to QB 12, somewhere in that space. And Kyler like has a career of being like a QB 10, QB 11. And my whole like take with Kyler is like during the offseason has been like, he's cool where he's at, but like if it gets to a point where he starts getting steamed up, then that's where like I would have to back off. But like at this point right now, like where he's being drafted at, man, like he like there's no question about it. Like he's definitely like a great value for sure. So yeah, I like that.
Give you one more I'm in on, Jalen Waddle. This is the point I want to tell everybody. Last year from week 7 through 11, it was 5 games. You could tell Sean Payton was done with the offense. He wanted a yak player. And so he put Troy Franklin in that role. And for 5 straight weeks, he got 9 to 11 targets, more targets every game than Sutton had. He failed the experiment. 3 games were horrible yardage, 2 games at 80 yards, but that was on 10 targets, so it was terrible. So what happens is they trade a first, third, and a fourth for Waddle. Waddle is going to step into that role you saw from week 7 through 11 because Peyton already told you that's what he wants. And people are going to say, well, what happened to Waddle in Miami? That was easy. Tua's got a pop gun for an arm. Every defense in the league settled everybody close to the line because Tua was never going to beat him. So anytime Waddle caught the ball, there were dudes waiting to hit him. In this offense, it's so diverse. Defenses cannot do that. And so Jalen Waddle is a perfect player for the role we saw for 5 weeks last year that Troy Franklin couldn't overcome.
Yeah, Waddle is like one of those guys for me that like I hate taking him. But like the reason why I hate taking him is the very reason why like I know that it will work is because of like all the things that like you just mentioned. And like we know Jalen Waddle has talent, like we know he has speed. And again, like being in an offense that like that was like one of my cases for Bo Nix was how many times the Broncos threw the ball. Cause like, nope, like, and I'm glad this like organically happened, but like Bo Nix to me is like the girl in high school that like you think is fly, but all of your friends don't think that she is. And then in a year and a half or 2 years later, all of your friends now are now trying to get with this girl because now they're like, oh, they see what you see. That's how I feel about Bo Nix. That's how I feel about him. And I feel like obviously feeling that way about Bo Nix just obviously means that, like, if you feel that way about Bo Nix, then you got to feel that way about some of the pass catchers. And I've been on record for being a big Cortland Sutton guy, and I'm still a big Cortland Sutton guy for sure. But, like, you could definitely obviously make a case to see, like, Jalen Waddle, as you mentioned, like the yards after catch, like that context right there just makes me go, okay, you know what? As cute as Bo Nix looks over there in that corner,
Oh my God!
listen, Jalen Waddle needs to be looking fly over there too. So, like, let's do it. Let's do it. So
you guys got to cut that clip real quick. Nick, sorry. You guys got to cut that clip. You got to put at Bo Nix, and you have to tag him on social and let him hear that. You will get 1 billion views. Nick, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I had to say that.
Oh man, I love it, bro. I love it, man. I love it. Oh shit.
You're right.
Oh man. All right. So we'll move to this one here. And then we'll get to like our final piece here. But who's the one?
Before you go on though.
Go ahead.
Talk about Waddle, right? Him or Lad McConkey right now. I have Waddle as my wide receiver 20 right now. Lad's my wide receiver 19.
But McConkey's ahead of him. McConkey's ahead of him. He's got McConkey, because they'll have somewhat similar roles, but with Mike McDaniel calling that offense, and I trust Justin Herbert. Like Justin Herbert, I trust a lot more than Bo Nix.
Fair. Listen, I seen Justin Herbert, man. And then I'll shut up, and then we'll go to our next piece. But like, I never will forget this. I was watching my boys, the UT Vols. I was watching them play against the Oregon Ducks in Oregon, and I remember seeing Justin Herbert out there. And I seen him make like 5 throws, and I was like, that's all I need to see. Like that, this guy is not only is he going to be playing on Sunday, but he is going to be something special on Sunday. And then obviously, like we know what the rest of it's been, man. So like, yeah, I'm definitely a Justin Herbert guy for sure. So, all right. So the one rookie, you only get to choose one. Doesn't matter position. Obviously, we want to hear whatever else you got to say about any of the other rookies in this class. But who's the one rookie that you're all the way in on?
It's low-hanging fruit, but I got to take it. How does Carnell Tate not get 140 to 150 targets? I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson, he took a Malik Neighbors injury for him to get a cajillion targets and put up 1,000 yards instead of the 600 he gets. And Calvin Ridley, thank you, fine, whatever. I mean, how does Tate not get that many targets? So it doesn't even matter how good Tate is. I think he's a short and intermediate guy, but Cam Ward actually played well the last 5 weeks of last season. So, yeah, to me, it's just volume is king in fantasy football, and I just think he's going to get more than he can handle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny actually because like Carnell Tate, like I was like some of the things like I've been doing is I was like, okay, like if there's one guy that I would take that's a rookie, like who would? And I was like, oh, at first I started like with Carnell Tate, and I was like, no. I was like, no, give me Jordan Tyson. And then I was like, no. I was like, no, let me go back. I was like, I'll take Carnell Tate. And like it feels like Carnell Tate is in the same, it's not the same situation, but just walk with me. It feels like when Malik Neighbors, as you mentioned, and then BTJ came out like in the same year, it feels that same way with Carnell Tate with all of like the talent that's been there at Ohio State. Like he can play, and he's a better football player than he is athlete. Is what it is with Carnell Tate. So like I agree with you, and like he's a guy that like because I'm coming back for Cam Ward in the second year. Like I was on him last year for sure, but I'm like a lot of my misses last year. Like I'm coming back for him again, like in the second year. You know what I mean? Because I think like it's definitely a thing. So like there you go, recipes out. But like I truly believe, like you mentioned, like Cam Ward was playing some good football before. He didn't even really get hurt. It was just more of a precautionary thing for the Titans. And then, like, that said everything that they needed to – it said everything that needed to be said when they went out and they picked a wide receiver up top and then obviously bringing in Wan'Dale. And, like, Nick's going to die when I say this, but I can't help it. But, like, I still don't believe Calvin Ridley's dead. Like, I still don't believe he's dead. Like, I don't believe he's dead. Like, I still believe that, like, this offense and, like, Brian Daboll, like, we're banking on him taking that next step with Cam Ward, and I think like obviously like the talent's there, the pedigree's there. So yeah, man, I rock with you on that Carnell Tate take for sure, man.
I
All
think
right.
Tate's pretty easy to rock with, right? It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But I would say like just kind of give a little spice to it. Like I do like Jordan Tyson. I got a chance to watch a little bit more tape on him, and I think like with the Saints, I think I like what they're building low key.
Yep.
With Tyson. So it'll be interesting to see how this overall shakes out when it comes to the rookies. But I'll be honest with you, like this rookie class, like maybe it's just a class that just will come out of nowhere and kind of like surprise us. But it feels like there isn't so much excitement, like in general. My other question for you, Jim, for the rookies is how do you think Lemon's going to fit in with the Eagles? And is there, like, as far as a systematic change, like, we talk about a lot about Devontae Smith, right? And his role in this Eagles offense without AJ Brown. Where are you feeling with all of that as a team for the Eagles right now? And it's Jalen Hurts, somewhat going underrated, as me and Johnny are. Johnny's definitely a little bit more Hurts than I am, as far as from a ranking standpoint. But I'm right there with him in terms of Hurts. Like, I expect a somewhat of a bounce back, like, offensive fantasy season for him.
My issue with Hurts was that when I watch every snap of every game for years, and Hurts was sliding 2 to 3 yards before contact last year. That was not the quarterback we saw in the prior 4 years. He was sliding. If he had to slide, it was like 1 yard before contact, but he was like giving up quickly. The tush push went down to 64%, I believe, from 88% efficiency. So the tush push is going away. It's not working. Jason Kelsey's gone, and that is not the same anymore. So, and the other thing is, look, there's documented struggles for Jalen Hurts against zone defenses. And say what you want about A.J. Brown dropping big passes in a playoff game. A.J. Brown bailed him out a lot. Just throw it up. A.J. Brown, who's going to be the ball winner there? Lemon's 195 pounds. I know Devontae Smith's 170 maybe. So at the end of the day, I thought that
straws
Lemon was
out
a slot, right? I thought Lemon was a slot. Can he play outside? Yes. I thought he was a slot. Well, we see Philly. They've got Goddard. They got Calcaterra. They drafted Stowers. They signed Stone Smart. They signed, oh my gosh, another tight end. I can't remember. They signed another blocking tight end. If this team is not going 2, maybe 3 tight ends, because they want to run the ball, they want to play defense, the offensive line's healthy, I think there could be a snap squeeze, and I think there's a non-zero chance that Dontavian Wicks splits some outside snaps with Lemon because he's a little bit bigger of a body. I just, how many small guys can you put out there and call it a day?
Yeah, for me, I like Jalen Hurts like this year. The reason why I like Jalen Hurts is because I feel like this is the cheapest that you're gonna get him. Like this is the cheapest that you're gonna get him. And not only is it the cheapest that you're gonna get him, but like I think there's some intangible things that like you can't put on a piece of paper. And I feel like a lot of like players, and obviously Jim, you've been doing this for a long time, man. Like you know what it is when there's a quarterback that loses an alpha receiver. You know, like there's an extra chip on their shoulder. You know, we know what it is like when these alpha wide receivers, when they leave the place that like didn't want them or like whatever the case may be, and they show up in a new spot, like they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. And like Jalen Hurts, like all the other pieces, man, that like we're talking about, right? Like I think for him, like the one thing that he definitely is like he's a competitor for sure. And I think like the AJ Brown leaving piece, I just think that like there's gonna be like, and I love Saquon Barkley, man. Like I love Saquon Barkley. I love him. I love him. I love him.
Definitely.
But like I think like we like last year it wasn't what it was the year before that. And like I think like obviously going into this year, you're probably gonna get somewhere in between, which is fine. Like which is gonna be productive, right? Because like he's still a natural talent. But I just think like for Jalen Hurts, I just feel like there's going to be more asked of him. And that's the reason why for me he's so enticing is because offensively there's going to be more things that are going to be asked of him offensively than there has been in the past. It's not going to be like, oh, well, let's just turn around and hand it to Saquon, right? Like it's not going to be that. Oh, AJ Brown wanted out of town and this and that. Like, I just think that like it's almost like a perfect storm. Like the best price you're going to get him at, he's going to be asked to do more. Like you mentioned about like the sliding pieces, like that's a good call out for sure. And I think like some of these guys, like they hear the background noise, and Jalen Hurts is one of those guys that hears the background noise and he gets better. Like there's no stats that I'm dropping here. This is all just gut feeling, right? This is all just gut. But like that's how I feel about Jalen, for sure, man.
The one thing I'll add to this is that I do feel confident with this Eagles offense where it hurts, and I do think the bounce back is definitely there within the cards. I understand what you're saying, Jim, when it comes to a overall perspective of, you know, he had AJ Brown and he's had this whole nucleus for the last couple of years, and it feels like he can't, from a fantasy standpoint, it feels like he hasn't gotten like those top tier, you know, top three consistently for fantasy. But I do think the offensive line definitely played a role last year. Between Dickinson, between Jurgens missing, between Johnson missing, the Eagles have always been a great offensive line since this run where Hurts has been there. And the fact that they were all kind of missing games, you could just tell the offense was. I'll give you a perfect example: the Denver game in particular, where honestly, like that game was definitely like, you know, watching literally the defenses throw rocks at each other. But it was literally like from a standpoint of that old team nucleus against one of the better teams in the league, it was, you saw Hurts miss throws. I'm not go back to the tape on that against his own defense, like you said, but also it was more about that offensive line. Like, you know, Jurgens was missing that game and Dickinson actually. So it was their overall perspective of them guys just getting healthier. I think the Eagles are going to be once again a top 5 offensive line. And usually when that type of stuff happens, like we're going to hopefully get better production from a fantasy perspective. And I know AJ Brown's missing, but hey, was that the missing thing that they actually needed? Maybe who knows from a psychological standpoint, because when you have a guy that's a negative Nancy coming into your locker room, like kind of just being like playing games or just like saying one thing, doing another, saying this to the media. We found out later that this guy was going behind each other's backs, throwing stuff at the media so they could just have a field day with the team. And they're like, "Oh, we can't give you this information." Where did this come from?
Wait. Like you said that, and it like triggered me because like I guess there was something. At least one of the things I heard was there was something about AJ Brown messing with somebody else's girlfriend or like side piece or something, and it just like I'm like, what? Well, and like Jalen Hurts was like, you know, the mature guy that allegedly, like obviously I'm not in the locker room, but I'm just like, wow. I'm like, okay, I guess this makes sense now.
He doesn't only command the football; he commands much more.
I do think like that definitely plays a role that we don't see, right? So we'll have to see, but I do think that Hurts is still in a position to definitely have a good season overall, and I think we're getting him at a decent discount.
One last factor to consider.
Sure.
Nick Sirianni's history 2 years ago, when they were winning games, they did not throw in the second half. I think there were games that hurt.
Yes,
that's true.
Yes.
You agree with me, Nick? The offensive line was hurt. They should be fine. I'm telling you, they signed Johnny Munt, Sohn Smart. They got Calcaterra. They got Goddard. They got Stowers. If they're leading in the second half with that elite defense, they brought in Jonathan Grenard to rush the passer. They even brought him in to add to the mix.
Yeah,
if they are winning,
that was a low-key, really good move.
Yeah.
Man, if they are winning in the second half of games and that line, and they're using 2 and 3 tight ends just to bludgeon the other team, are they even going to throw the ball in the second half of 9 games this year? That's my other point I want to make.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good call out because that was the biggest concern last year. Because last year, and again, like I'm repeating, I'm a psychopath apparently, but like last year it was repeating the same thing because like I was in on AJ Brown because I thought like the defense would have had some opportunities from Philly. But like that was one of like the big call outs was like the amount of times that like they threw the ball, because even with AJ Brown stats from 2 years ago, a lot of that happened in one half of football, which is why I was so excited, which is why like I'm also really excited about like this new transition that like he's got going on as well. But no, that's actually that is a hell of a call out for sure, because I totally, as we're talking about this, totally spaced that part of it for sure.
I just do think the scrambling of like the one thing that's going to hold Jalen Hurts back from really just like really reaching a ceiling this year will be, I want him to scramble more. So I do want to see more of that scramble rate go up. So that's my whole thing with Jalen Hurts, and that's why I've had him in a few leagues, but it was something where it's if you're missing that from your quarterback, it brings you down. The rushing touchdowns, we obviously know they'll be there. But it's more about now. It's from a rushing perspective, it's can we get more, please?
I don't know, man. Because you know how it goes. They're scrambling to get to where they're at, and now that where they're at, now it's about preservation. It's about preserving yourself, and I think that's what it is, man. And that was the recipe they had a few years. I'd love to see him move around a little bit more for sure, man. I'd love to as well. So, all right, man. Our last segment we got here. The bench mob. That's what I like to refer to this as, the bench mob. All right. So we got one quarterback, one running back, one receiver, and one tight end with their current ADP at round 10 or from round 10 to round 20 or whatever the case may be. If you could construct a roster right now based off of ADP currently here on, what is this, July 15th, fire it away, Jim.
All right, easy. Kyler Murray's my quarterback, and I don't mind Baker Mayfield. My running back, Chris Rodriguez. Not a lot there. I think he gets the grinder carries and he gets the red zone. Not a lot of running backs that deep, but I think he will be a floor guy at least. My wide receiver, Dejon Stribling. Because, look, first pick in the second round. They've got Evans, who missed 12 games the last 2 years. Pearsall missed half a season last year. If Christian Kirk gets in, has he ever been healthy? Kittle's not healthy. So at the end of the day, Stribling needs one of 4 injured pieces to miss time, and he could be he is perfect for Shanahan's offense. That's why they drafted him with the 33rd pick, because he's that catch and run guy. So he could be an instant home run for you. Not week 1, but it might be week 4. And then my tight end, Mark Andrews. If you look back,
Andrews,
right? Mark Andrews had a 10-game season when he broke his leg. He was back on pace for another 900-yard season. It was the year after where they ran the ball so well, and then they were splitting it up. He didn't do it. But last year, he had 11 touchdowns in that one season where he didn't do it. He had 11 touchdowns. And then last year, obviously, the quarterback was hurt. So, and he played through injuries. But right now, Likely's gone. Kohler's gone, and I know they brought blocking Durham Smythe in. They drafted Hibner and Cuevas, but they're not going to challenge Andrews. In that receiver room, I know they drafted Jacoby Lane, Elijah Surratt. Who cares? It's Mark Andrews is the second receiver on that team, and Lamar's throwing on the ball.
Yeah, and it's actually it's funny about Andrews, because I'm pretty sure last year, didn't he also get in a car wreck before going to? He got into a car wreck before going to the game, and then obviously you have Isaiah Likely there as well. So actually that's definitely a good call for sure with him, because it's you went to the at least for me anyway. I went to the well for him the last 2 years, and you think you're getting a steal. You're it's Mark Andrews. But the other thing that just about Baltimore, obviously. My terrible towel. The thing that's the most interesting to me, man, is and I've talked about this, is just the youth movement that's happening in Baltimore. And I think that's something that's going to be very, very interesting. I think when you bring in a lot of young coaches, because you've been around, Jim, the game changes, and there's the people that are ahead of the curve, there's the people that are at the curve, and there's the people that are behind the curve. And one of the things I can say, as much as I hate the Baltimore Ravens with a passion, but one thing I will say about them is they've always been ahead of the curve when it comes to, the way the game has been played. I'm not saying I'm excited. I'm not saying I'm looking forward to. I'm just saying that I think that this Baltimore offense is going to be very, very interesting with I'll give it a futuristic feel to the offense with this youth movement that they have going on for sure. And obviously, man, you talked about Kyler, all show long for sure. And I think at the end of the day, right, I think all 3 of us, we can all agree that Kyler Murray is somebody that we definitely have on our board, and we would definitely be happy walking away with in any draft. Is to be fair, even if he was our QB1, if we completely waited, I think we could all be all right, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And Chris Rodriguez, I think obviously there's still a lot of mixed feels out there, like with him for sure. But as you mentioned, like he has a defined role, and And I think like if for me, and this is another like take of mine, like dude, I love the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. I love them. I love Trevor Lawrence. I think I've been on record. I've already put it out there for everybody. Like I've already made a bet, a futures bet for Trevor Lawrence to be MVP. He was one of the only quarterbacks last year to be able to. Actually, he was the only quarterback last year to have 2 number 1 overall finishes at all in that space. And you look at what they've given him offensively, and then obviously 2 years now with Liam Cohen, like and defensively, like they I think like people aren't talking about that group enough. A lot of people are really enamored by the Houston Texans, as they should be defensively. Like they should be. Like that's a freaking phenomenal defense. But man, dude, like if you like in fantasy, if you're the beneficiary of getting, great value on the back end of a high-powered offense, man, dude, that'll definitely take you some places for sure. And I love your receiver take as well, because you're not wrong, man. Like we just talked about it. Everybody in San Francisco 49ers uniform, they're bound to get hurt. Somebody's bound to. I don't know if it's radiation or what they got going on out there, but whatever it is they got going on out there, like people get hurt.
Heck, they might have got hurt during this podcast, Johnny.
Oh man, but no, dude, I definitely I love all the takes for sure, man. Obviously Nick did that Undertaker thing one more time, man. Apparently you said something that bothered him again. But no, man, obviously we'll try to wait for Nick to get back. But in the meantime, as we're waiting for Nick to get back and we get ready to wrap this up, man, just let everybody know where they can find you, what you got going on, what's up next with you. Go ahead, man.
And I will give you a quick bonus on Mark Andrews. His offensive coordinator is Declan Doyle, and then maybe he hasn't called plays, but that was Ben Johnson's right-hand man. Ben Johnson had a little bit of success with Sam Laporta, a little bit of success with Colston Loveland, and, Mark Andrews is a pretty weaponizable receiver. But anyway, you could find
Declan's 29 years old. 29 years old, right? 29 years old, yeah.
And they signed him to here is the thing with Andrews. They actually signed him last year to a 3-year deal. So we thought he was getting old. Clearly the team didn't think that. So, so I just think something about it. Anyway, you could find me and socials at Jim Coventry NFL, putting out a lot of content every day. I'm over at RotoWire. My rankings will be there. And if you want those rankings, you can subscribe to RotoWire, use the code Jim, get 15% off. And that's pretty much me.
All right, man. Well, listen, man, I said it before, like when we came on, I even shot you the same message, man. Like, dude, like I've been a huge fan of your work, man, for a very long time, for sure. I'll say the same thing, man. I sent like in the message, man, like, dude, I love your passion. I love your enthusiasm, for sure, for the game, man. I love your knowledge for sure. And doing this right here, man, is Nick and I have been doing. If you would have told me 4 years ago, man, that Jim Coventry would be hanging out with me, man, and we'd be able to talk fantasy football, man, for an hour on a podcast, I've been like, man, you're crazier than all get out. But like, dude, thank you so much for sure, man, for taking the time, like out of your busy schedule, man, to come hang out with us for sure. I'm sad that I won't be at the expo this year, but man, next year, man, I will be there, and I will catch you and we will hook up. And, hopefully we can have you on again at some point in time, man, during the off season or whatever the case may be. But thank you so much. And listen, the last thing I'm going to plug for everybody, listen, if you've been watching this, today's a great day to subscribe to the Fantasy Football Show on YouTube, on the X, on the Instagrams, on the Facebook. If you're local with me, it's a great day to be able to do that for sure. Like we need all the love and all the support that we got. And obviously, man, bringing in guys like the man, Jim Coventry right here, who officially, hey man, we're welcoming you to the cookout, brother. You're good to go, man. With much love to you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. My name's Johnny Man. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know the drill. This is the homie Jim Coventry, and Nick Wilcox is out there somewhere doing his best Undertaker impersonation, but much love for him too. We out. Peace.